Heir Constantinos had proved to everybody in the empire by now that he was a military genius. His father, Emperor Ioannis, was very old and had given the actual power of making all the important decisions to his son. Never in the last 100 years had any ruler or heir proved to be so ambitious, militarily experienced, bold, and ready to exploit the diplomatic and military situation that came up. He was a genuine believer of the Byzantine legacy and was sure that a glorious future was ahead for Byzantium. He also believed that this future was in his fate to materialize for the Byzantine people. He had managed in the past 11 years as a military commander with the advice of Andronikos Komnenos and Nikephoros Phokas to cripple the Ottomans in just one war. He reclaimed Optimati and Hundavendigar, two very important provinces that the Ottomans had in Minor Asia before the war, and returned to Byzantium its cores in Greece that were lost for at least the last 100 years. He had vassalized Bosnia and was about ready to completely annex Serbia. Who could have imagined that Byzantium would ever be able to own all this land, not in 11 years' time, but in 100 years? The Ottomans' advances after the failed crusade of Varna had left Byzantium hopeless, without any allies and ready to be eaten up by the all-powerful Turks. And then a small alliance with Albania changed everything. The original plan of participating in the Albanian war that General Phokas had prepared evolved in an unparalleled triumph that left the Ottomans helpless, only to be invaded by Austria right afterwards. Shortly after that, Constantinos did not hesitate to declare war on Serbia and its allies Bosnia. He was triumphant in the 3-4 battles that occurred and managed to vassalize Bosnia. Serbia was at his hands when the sneaky Georgians declared a succession war for taking the throne of Imereti for themselves. With the glorious Byzantine army preoccupied in the Serbian front, they thought they had a chance. But Byzantium allies stated clearly that they would support Byzantium's claim on the Imereti throne. Given this fact, Georgia had no chance at all really. With this war, Georgia was ready to be annexed by the Byzantine war machine shortly. But now, Heir Constantinos had tragically died. Emperor Ioannis was devastated by this event and remained alone in his private room for a whole week. He only appeared at Constantinos' funeral, not being able to talk to anyone. He also announced a month of national mourning. Nevertheless, there was not any time for mourning really. Byzantium was on the verge of becoming the lesser partner in the personal union with some other state, effectively losing its independence. While at war, no other country would dare to enforce such a personal union in the event of Emperor Ioannis' death. So Andronikos Komnenos and Nikephoros Phokas, his trusted privy council, advised the emperor to continue the succession war for Imereti as long as possible. They told him that he should take half his army and his allies as well as the Imereti's army and attack Georgia before they managed to siege down the capital of Imereti. Further, they advised him to stop maintaining the Edirne fort to save money for the war effort. They also said that he should do what it takes to have greater professionalism in his army, even if this meant that some of his people would be upset with his decision. General Phokas always wanted to have professional commanders to command his troops. They further advised the devastated emperor from the loss of his only son and heir to grant the Serbian provinces of Raška and Smederevo to Bosnia, to reduce their desire for liberty and avoid any cost of having to keep them, like rebels and corn cost. This would be done once Byzantium would be at peace. As for the pressing matter of the state not having an heir, the two trusted advisors spoke boldly and said to the Emperor Ioannis that he should forget his plans about not marrying anyone to honor the death of his beloved son, but instead he should start immediately an urgent diplomatic race to get married himself and arrange royal marriages for the members of Palaiologos family for the country to soon get an heir. After much deliberation, Emperor Ioannis decided to make a royal marriage with Trebizond. As for the issue of Byzantium not having a strong ally yet, The advisors assured the emperor that this matter would soon have a happy ending. The Byzantine army started a swift Russian march under the great general Gavras, well known for his maneuvering abilities, through the whole Balkans, Macedonia, and Constantinople to meet the Georgian army in Caucasus. In just 40 days, they managed to be in Constantinople. General Gavras then boarded his troops to his transport fleet in Constantinople, and they disembarked 1 month later in Odisha. His army consisted of 8,000 devoted men furious about the Georgian provocation against Byzantium's rights on the Emirati throne. Just the moment when their beloved heir, who had led them in glory, was dead. They were here for the kill. Then immediately General Gavras attacked the Georgian forces in their capital Tbilisi, while at the same time the Wallachian allied army was sieging their second fort in Kartli. General Gavras absolutely decimated the Georgian armed forces in this battle. After his glorious victory, General Gavras proceeded to the siege of Georgian's capital. His troops were exhausted, but they had a smile on their face. They were honoring their deceased heir this way, at least in their minds. In the meantime, Emperor Ioannis, as advised, made his peace with Serbia by annexing all of their provinces. He also managed to get a good 100 ducats in the peace deal, needed to pay for his army's fighting in Georgia. What would have happened if only my son was alive? I'm only ruling in his place now. All of these are his accomplishments, he said in tears. After the peace deal was agreed, the emperor sent officials to make the people of the newly conquered lands to believe that Byzantium has a truthful right to own their lands. But he didn't do so for the lands he planned to give to the Bosnians. He could not give them land while at war, so he had to wait. 7 months later, in April of 1456, the siege of Tbilisi was still ongoing. Byzantium was bleeding money and manpower. Rebels were brewing in Serbia, and Bosnia still had a strong desire to be liberated. They were disloyal to their overlord Byzantium, and they didn't contribute any money or men in the war effort. Byzantium seemed to be overstretched. In July, the Tbilisi siege was about to complete a whole year, but there was considerable progress. The Georgian capital was ready to surrender, and then the Byzantine armies would be free to face the last defenders of Georgia hiding now in Kakheti. The next month, Tbilisi fell in Byzantine hands. This was the turning point of the war. Now Georgia could never return from this situation. The annexation of all of Georgia and the gifting of their lands to Emirati was imminent. But the Byzantine troops were at their lowest point of morale. They were fighting continuously for years. There were no replacement. The Byzantine state had no manpower whatsoever, and they had to continue hunting those Georgians in the mountains. When the Byzantine army was at the verge of mutiny, glorious news came from the capital. A new female heir was born. The Emperor Ioannis at this age managed to give birth to a second child. Princess Constantina was a pretty baby, and more important, she would become a dream ruler. She was ambitious, talented, and more important, she could be the next heir of the Byzantine Empire. But Emperor Ioannis hated her. Having missed his son Constantinos, from whom he prepared everything as he thought, saw this little baby as a usurper, his own child. His grief all these months had brought him close to madness. He could not think clearly. His advisors tried to convince him otherwise, but they talked for hours to him in vain. He just didn't answer. It was clear that his mind stayed a year ago when Constantinos was still alive. He just refused to come back to reality. On the other hand, the Byzantium nobles were not keen on accepting a female ruler. Byzantium had female rulers in the past, and they thought they were all weak. It was only a matter of time before some pretender arose. The situation was crucial. Andronicus and Nikephoros, the two old friends that had Byzantium's fortunes in their hands right now, were anxious. The emperor just wouldn't listen. The Andronicus thought about a plan. He talked about it to Nikephoros, and they agreed that this was the only solution. They would tell a lie to the emperor. The next day, Andronicus and Nikephoros visited Emperor Ioannis in his room and told him that a plan to kill the baby princess and seize the power was in the process by some high-rank nobles. They didn't know their names, but they would find out more shortly. A thunderbolt struck Ioannis. He rose up and ordered them to bring all the nobles and the royal court in front of him in an hour. He suddenly had realized that mourning put him, his family, and Byzantium in great danger. So he called the court and named Princess Constantina as his heir to the throne. Of course, everybody cheered. Nobody was actually preparing a coup. Not while Byzantium was expanding so fast, but the plan of the two advisors was a success. With their morale replenished after the announcement of the new heir, the Byzantine troops finally felt that they had someone to fight for, Princess Constantina. So they chased the remnants of the Georgian army in the Caucasian mountains and finished them. Georgia had no official army anymore. A year later, the last Georgian fort in Kartli had fallen, and a peace deal with Georgia was imminent. Byzantium would annex Georgia, take all the money in their treasury, and give all the land to Imereti. This was a move to avoid further loss in manpower by having to fight rebels, and Byzantium could not core this land anyway. 15 days later, everybody cheered. Byzantium was in peace after all these years of war. The deceased glorious heir Constantinos led the minds and bodies of these exhausted soldiers. A triumph was held in Constantinople, but there was no one to honor really. The honored personality was absent. It was a triumph to honor heir Constantinos' victories. Nobody else would dare to claim them as his victories. Byzantium had managed to survive the sneak attack by the Georgians and reversed the military situation to its advantage in 1.5 years. Byzantium was great again. The Byzantines could look the Ottomans straight in the eyes now, and a second war against them was already in their plans. They only had to secure some strong allies. But this was in the works already. They had managed to have a royal marriage with Poland and Austria. Soon, the great nations of Poland, Lithuania, and Austria-Hungary would be their allies. Austria-Hungary didn't make any real progress against the Ottomans, and this was good news for Byzantium. It meant that they would be able to claim the rest of the Balkans from the Ottomans in the next war. Everything seemed in place, exactly the way heir Constantinos dreamed and tried to accomplish in his very short life. Many historians already started comparing Constantinos Palaiologos with Alexander the Great, who also died very young. Like Alexander, nobody knows what Byzantium would have achieved if Constantinos lived longer. Heir Constantinos was dead, and the Byzantines had to live with that. God Almighty called him early. A new talented heir was about to rule in the years to come, and everybody in the Byzantine Empire were looking to the future with hope.
Hello everyone, and this is Imperial Souvlaki. So you just saw what happened to be a slideshow with a long narration. Now this happened because after recording nearly 2 exciting hours of action-packed video, I found out only after stopping my recording that the video portion was all messed up. The audio was great, but the video was like a slideshow moving slower than molasses. I was about to rage quit and throw my laptop into the next universe, but instead I chose to make something better of this, with the help of my advisors and my narrator. The result was that you guys got to see a little sneak peek of what the lore episodes will look like. And yes, that was actual footage. Sadly. Now we're going to continue on this episode in that kind of style, with my narrator and my advisors taking roles, as well as myself playing the role of Emperor Ioannis at this point. Then we'll be continuing on with the regular style of play as you guys have been used to since before this episode. So thank you very much for being patient again, and let us continue on with our conquests. So now I'll follow my Privy Council's advice and get rid of the small islands I've made to make room for Austria and Poland. We are close to making an alliance with them now, and I must also annex Athens and give Bosnia the provinces of Raska, Parincevo, and Smederevo. Okay, we're going to start by moving these ships, which apparently have already been moved. Okay, never mind. So troops are there, some in Constantinople. Okay, we have a lot of alliances that we don't really need right now. So we're going to take a look at Austria and Poland and probably get rid of Wallachia. Speak of the devil. No. Okay, so Wallachia, Albania. Like, yeah, let's get that. Perfect. So that's an important ally. Because we're going to use them against Venice. Albania has Siena still. Okay. Well, they're not going to have us. So good luck with Siena. You're going to be by yourself. Perfect. Goodbye. And now we made room for Poland. So Poland again is a very important ally. Okay, let's get another diplomatic. Okay, perfect. So Poland is another very important ally because they have Lithuania and Moldavia. Wallachia, goodbye. But yeah, they have Lithuania and Moldavia, and that makes them quite powerful. So when we declare war on Venice or the Ottomans or anything, they'll be useful in that sense. And also they're a good buffer between Muscovy and us. Now we have two major allies, so we're going to want a third. So I'm going to look at the Mamluks here, because the Mamluks are really important also when looking at the Ottomans. We don't have enough of them right now. We'll improve with them. We'll try to max relations with them and see what happens afterwards. Okay. Now we've been expanding pretty well. And we're gonna hope that we can continue this. Alright, yeah, Athens is taking up a diplomatic slot, so we're gonna try to annex them now as fast as we can. Get rid of Athens. That'll give us a couple more troops, so this way we don't actually have to purchase them. And also we're going to see a little bit more purple on the map, which is amazing. I like seeing more purple. Eventually we'll do that with them already in Bosnia, but it's not the time right now. Now, Austria is actually coming in on the east side of the Ottomans, which is not ideal. We don't want that to happen, but it's happening. Now for Bosnia here, we're going to give them a couple provinces just to make them a little bit happier, and also we're not going to have to deal with these coring costs. Again, admin points are very expensive, and we want to save as many as we can. Okay, yeah, Principal and Raska. We'll keep the rest. We'll keep the rest. You know, it's kind of funny because I haven't actually made Bosnia bigger like that ever, and I'm not used to seeing Bosnia bigger than just having like what their original provinces are. So it's gonna be a little bizarre to look at them on the map like this. Usually what ends up happening is that Bulgaria gets released as a core instead. Sorry, as a vassal instead, not Bosnia being kept at it, but it was the only way to kind of hold on to all those provinces instead of having Hungary take them over shortly afterwards. Now what I'm really worried about here is the Austrians taking over the Ottomans, because if they can take more provinces from the Balkans, that'll be more problematic for us. We want all those provinces that they've currently sieged. Okay. Let's see. Okay, yeah, diplomatic reputation, perfect. That's gonna totally screw us over a little bit with trying to get the Mamluks, but it's fine. That could wait a little bit longer. Let's see. Unrest. Okay, we're gonna have a couple rebel groups coming up. Just a few. See, that having no manpower kind of sucks, because now we actually have to worry about rebels. I know that we don't have the troops to replenish those that die fighting them back. And I can't even state them up to try to increase autonomy yet, because they're not cores. So for now, I'm just going to hope that they don't rise up. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that sucks. It's okay. Don't worry. We'll get it done. Now... Man, those Ottomans. Ottomans can't even hold up a fight. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. So one time I'm rooting for you. You know what? It's okay. Everything is like this. Is just a minor setback. Perfect. How beautiful does that look? Athens is back in our realm. Take their troops. Move them over there. And I can't do it, yes, I guess. Okay, whatever. Don't worry, we'll move them later. All these new ships. Honestly, we have so many ships. I think we have too many ships. We're at the point where we're way over our force limit. It's probably a little expensive to hold on to them. But I'd rather have more ships now, you know, than lack ships when facing Venice. Because Venice has a lot of galleys and they have superiority in the region. Right? But now we have superiority, so we're gonna hold on to these ships no matter how expensive it is. Let's see. You know, using the ships strategically is also important. I keep forgetting sometimes to move these barks out of my fighting fleets and end up fighting with these trade ships. So, I need to keep remembering to put them on trade missions so that we can make more money. Okay. Yeah, we kind of want to put them on our good side here so we can start getting their money. So those, not many troops. Okay, 3k troops. But 3k troops is better than no troops. Unrest. Okay. Not ideal. Suppress the rebels. Okay. 60%. Overall, we're in a good spot, though. Look, we're making good money. We have two, we have a vassal, we have a personal union. We can't promote the Turkish culture yet. Okay, that not being able to promote Turkish culture is not a good thing yet, but we will do that as soon as we get more provinces, because we want to lessen the chance of them rising up. We also want to improve conversion costs. That sucks. Okay, well I was kind of hoping to add Trebizond to our eventual list, but that's rough. I'm going to just stop that now. That was a waste of time. Okay. Well, I guess Kandar is going to be the only option. Maybe? Maybe Kandar? We'll see. Okay, let's take a look at their allies. Ajam. Okay, Crimea won't join them, which is fine. Because Crimea is getting wrecked. But no Ajam. They have Kazan. Okay, either way, there's the second ally that's always there, which I don't have to deal with. Okay, they have Theodoro, the royal marriage. Oh my god. I shouldn't have done that royal marriage, but I panicked. I might have to break that off though. But that is something that I'm going to speak to with my advisors, because it might be worth it. Okay. But again, that's going to drop the stability. Oh. Okay, that's done. So Austria just took Vidin. That's unfortunate, but I think we're okay with the plans to conquer the Balkans in the next war with the Ottomans. Let's see what my advisors have to say.
The Privy Council the next day was crowded. It was an open session, meaning that all advisors of the court could speak freely their mind. Many talked about the current situation in the Balkans, but as usual, the diplomatic advisor Andronicus Komnenos had the last word.
I believe that the situation is the best that we could have hoped for. Austria, having seized only Vidin, allows us plenty of space to conquer almost all of Bulgaria in the next Ottoman War. Long-remembered heir Konstantinos was right, even in his move to deny access to the Austrians. Everybody else would give access to them simply to let them decimate even further the Ottomans. I also believe that we should not touch Kandar as long as they are allied to Ajam. But Trebizond with their only ally Theodoro is another matter.
I agree, Lord Komnenos, but we have more pressing matters to discuss. For example, should we give any of our newly conquered provinces the status of a state?
I believe not, my lord. However, Hudavendigar is an exception. Also, I believe we could upgrade our gold mine in Kosovo to be able to get even more gold.
And there we have it. The advice from the Privy Council. I'll have to look at our economy and we'll have to take a look at Trebizond. Okay. There's a couple other things that I'd like to do later in the future, which is look at Naples. Like if I get my foothold in Italy, that would be fantastic as well. But it's not possible right now if they're, you know, a vassal or a PU of Aragon. I'm pretty confident with how we are though. We have a lot of ships, our army's doing pretty well. Yeah, we're low on manpower, but we have the possibility of expanding very quickly, very soon. This is great news. And our new borders in the east allow us to go after the Black Sea very quickly. Circassia, you know, also Crimea. It'd be great. Tributary state of the horde. Okay. Oh, it's a possibility in the future, but let's see. QQ is too strong, though. No, let's check. Bitless. Okay, so basically QQ is holding onto that section. Okay. Ottomans. Interesting. Okay. Alright, so yeah, what I said about very quickly, maybe not that quickly. There's a couple of alliances there that are blocking us. But we will eventually. Those alliances will change and we'll be able to just jump in and grab what we want. Okay, Naxos. Yeah, we just need to build up our manpower again. You know, that's actually a common issue that I have whenever I play as Byzantium or any other country that's kind of struggling in the beginning, is I run out of manpower very quickly. It's a bit of a shame. You know, maybe it's something I'm doing wrong with my play, but, you know, over time. Cyprus. The Knights is also something I can go after later on. The Knights. Cyprus I don't like to grab right away. So just gonna fabricate there. But Cyprus I don't like to grab it away just because that really pisses off the Mamluks. And I want to get the Mamluks. You know, I want to get the Mamluks as an ally. So I'm gonna try not to piss them off. And that's the same with getting the lower half of Anatolia. Really, it's difficult to grab that and then also try to get the Mamluks as an ally afterwards. It's you get the Mamluks first and then go after those, because, you know, this way you can make sure that you're not completely blocking yourself. Let's see about that. Still far away. We'll see. In future. See, we actually really screwed the Ottomans, because typically, they would have already grabbed Karaman, they would have grabbed Ramazan, they would have grabbed Dulkadir, Kandar, whatever, but we screwed them so hard that they don't have the option of doing that. Okay. Now we're looking at these guys just because we want admin points, but not too sure if I'm willing to spend the money right now. We don't need any of them. Like, we'll see. Just something to consider. Okay. Yeah, we're doing okay. Let's see. Like, honestly, this might be Kandar's best game. Like as an AI at least, kinda not having been eaten yet, they're like living the dream. Infertile. Perfect. Perfect. You know, just like, we don't want to have heirs ever. Man, that sucks. You know, other than expanding quickly, we're having a lot of bad news, like, in terms of our heirs and stuff. Like, yeah, that's garbage. I guess you can't have everything perfect. 666, but then just have another baby. Watch our heir. I'm not going to jinx it, knock on wood. Hits my own head. Watch us get like a 001 heir. If we actually get that, I'm gonna be really pissed at myself for jinxing us. But just imagine. Okay, Poland, you gotta fight those guys off, man. You have to stay strong for me. Alright. Ready. So what should we do with these guys? Trebizond's just so juicy. Like, I don't like that they have a 3-star general. I really don't. I really don't. Okay. Oh my god, I've been improving relations the whole time? God damn it. Well, that's good. Great, but I've been improving relations with the knights, because I'm actually a dunce. Okay. Well, now that we're not improving relations with the knights anymore, let's start building that spy network, which we're supposed to be doing before, but, you know, I like my dunce cap and a cone and very tall. Okay. Alright, slowly Bosnia's getting happier. Let's see, knights. Yeah, I like that we have money. That's a nice thing. Aww. At least I don't have to send anybody to make him already happy. Seems they're already happy. There we go. Good boy. See, Kosovo makes us a lot of money. So I can upgrade them now. But once they become cores, like my advisors recommended, I'm going to increase the production there so I can get more gold from that mine. Sucks for you, Novgorod. Okay. Okay. See, Circassia I'd like to actually take. Just like secure that spot in the Black Sea. Not yet with the Mamluks. Yeah, they're important in terms of invading the Ottomans. They really want to get back to the Ottomans, so it would be great if we can get them to just distract the Ottoman army in the east, so we can just go and conquer all of the Balkans and Asia Minor, etc. Grab as much land as we can, probably grab all of the Balkans, and then some of Asia Minor, and then all the ducats. You know, I like taking money from the Ottomans. Such a great thing. Like, being rich in this game just makes you so happy. Probably in real life too, right? Being rich. But I'll have to live that in this game. Okay. Alright, that's tax income. Alright. Just gotta see which is the right one. Depleting each year. Having its production. I think this is the one. I'm pretty sure this is the one. Yeah. Oh. That's it. Hopefully by the time that mine is depleted, we don't need it anymore. We'll just be making so much money, just invading everybody, taking their lands, taking their money. Who needs to work for their money when they can just take it from other people, right? Kids, don't listen to that advice. Oh, Crimea finished its war. Okay. You know, another thing I'd like is if... Okay. Great. Good for you, Ragusa. Another thing I would have liked is if... Yeah, that's it. Is if, Bitlis wasn't part of QQ, or wasn't vassalized by QQ, because that'd be so great to take. So we're moving our troops over to Imereti, and we're going to build a couple more that we're also going to transfer over. Because we're going for Trebizond. Trebizond is just too great to not grab. And the fact that they're allied to Theodoro is also amazing. So we're going to march our guys over to Odishi so we can join up with Imereti's forces, and we're going to grab their forces too, and then bring them into the mountains in Trebizond to fight their soldiers. This way, we don't bleed only our troops. Take some of them with us. But then we'd also have Theodoro, which is perfect, because then we have the possibility to just run into Crimea. On this great piece of news, we're going to end this episode. We'll continue off in the next one, where we'll be invading Theodoro and Trebizond. Thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe.